Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range. Hey, this week I speak with Josh Koo. Josh can best be described as a waterman, an oceanman. He loves it. He's immersed in it constantly and has been his whole life. I describe Josh as a big wave surfer as well. However, I get the sense that he doesn't necessarily want to be described like that. He's more just like a guy that loves surfing big waves and challenging himself like that. But he has such a humility about him. It's like he doesn't take himself that serious in that respect. Josh discusses his life growing up in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, being of Asian heritage, and the subsequent racism that he was subjected to, especially as a young surfer, and that clash of cultures, which is really interesting. We're joined by a mutual friend and this week's co-host, Mr. Peter Barmer, who's also a surf photographer. Probably shot a lot of photos of Josh over the years, and he adds his 2 cents in and brings a real fun vibe to the episode. Josh cooked us an awesome dinner from fish that he'd caught earlier in the week. It was some beautiful kingfish sashimi and some fish tacos, and he's just such a good vibe. You know, I'm really working on associating myself with good people and how good that is for your well-being, and being around Josh was like the epitome of that, because when you're with him, you just can't stop smiling. Like, I was smiling the whole night. I don't know what it is about the guy. He's someone that stays very active. He's always busy following his passions. And he's also someone that likes to push his boundaries, but in a real humble way. And that really resonated with me throughout the podcast. Josh goes into depth about that wave that he caught at Deadman's in Manly this year. Might be regarded as one of the best waves of the season on the east coast of Australia, around the Sydney area. It's a huge swell. He goes into the whole context of it, you know, the amphitheatre of people that were watching him up on the cliff, and the subsequent beating that he copped on the inside, where it almost resulted in a 2-wave hold down, and he explains it so well. He goes into a lot of depth about his love for foil surfing and foiling, and he's a free foiler who is sponsored to foil, and it's actually got me pretty psyched on it. But he just links it back to maybe a little bit of disillusion with the state of surf culture and surf mentality, and what prompted him to seek other ways of enjoying the ocean. So it was really, really interesting to get that perspective. As always, this episode's dedicated to my children, Clementine and Otis, who I hope one day will go back through this back catalogue of episodes once they're a bit older, and find the inspiration and the learnings that I get from my guests every week. So enjoy it. And Mr. Josh Koo, everyone, a rad human. Terrible Happy Talks. Terrible Happy Talks.
Yeah, good to be here, man. Whoa. Dude, I'm
Go. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's do this. What's up? What's up? So loud, dude.
Was it too loud?
That's fine. So commercial radio. You actually got a good face for commercial radio, Pete.
Don't I?
Oof. Too soon. Sorry, Pete. I don't mean that.
Thank you.
Anyway, let's stop beating around the bush. Josh, man, it's so good to have you, dude. And I guess I've been following you from afar for many years. I love what you do, but I want to get stuck into an interesting story and a fun story. Tell us about that wave at Deadman's. Was it
right.
this year?
Straight into it.
But I'm actually more curious about the board that you caught that wave on at Deadies.
Right.
Give us some context.
That wave was in March. It was kind of the start of the winter swell season. I usually don't surf that wave over in Manly, Deadman's. I'm usually surfing a local wave over here in the eastern suburbs called Wedding Cake. And that morning, or that evening the night before, I had all my gear ready in my truck. Impact vest, my 9.6 board, Went down at first sunlight, met the local crew down there, and it just wasn't right. There was a bit too much east in the swell. It wasn't really hitting this wedding cake wave. So I did the call around, had my buddy Breno Rowney, who's he surfs this Deadman's wave all the time, and he gave me the word and was like, it's kind of like XXL over here, but he goes, it's not really doing it. He just said, like, you know, by the time you get your stuff, the swell might sort itself out a little bit, and I think you could time this quite well. So what I did is I grabbed my this 7.2 that I got given by a friend's dad who collected in a trash pickup day. It was wave tools, so it was shaped back in I presume the 80s. I think wave tools are still around this day, but so it's like this super flat deck, really full flat rail, fat rail board, not very refined, but it's like it's a really cool shape. It was made to be paddled, early entry, and just pretty much go straight, I reckon. Like old school big wave board, but like a good one. So I grabbed that because from my experience of Deadman's, I've always just gotten beatings, broken boards, never had a good real time there. So that's why it's not really on my radar. I'm a goofy footer too. So like backhand, big kind of pinchy closeout barrels doesn't go well. But I thought, you know, give it a crack. There's always that one guy or one female every swell that gets that one bomb that goes viral, and I go, you know what, my local's not doing it today, so I'll give it a crack. Actually, also got a call from Maxie McGuigan. So he actually said as well, same thing as Breno. He goes, I think like it could get better later. So got the word from two mates. Head over just by myself. Usually how I do the thing when the swell's on, I don't usually go with the crew. It's just too hard to organise people, and I know I've got one thing in mind, and that's usually get a good wave. So I just go myself, get to the car park. Car park's just chockers, can't get a park. I park literally like a kilometre away. I suit up, grab my board, walk down, get to the jump off. It actually doesn't look too gnarly. Like it looks really... It looks really picture perfect. Like it looks like when you rock up at Ulu's and you just see clean lines, offshore, sunny day, like something that you don't see when it's a huge kind of south swell in Sydney. It's usually like accompanied by rain, wind, like awful conditions. But today was like sunny, offshore, you know, still pretty big, like 10 foot or something. And jump out there. As soon as I get out there, Maxie McGuigan's out there with Harry Steele, another legend from Wollongong. They're just both sitting up the top. Both boys not from like this area, but both kind of, you know, going the deepest, going the hardest. A lot of other crew out there, but you could tell that like a lot of crew were just kind of, you know, sitting, feeling the spot out, not really too hungry for a proper bomb. So I had one thing in mind. Like I was out there. I just wanted, you know, a big set. What's going on, Shannon?
Sorry, no, keep going. Pete's just like with his awesome cameras taking photos, and like I just get real shy when Pete takes photos.
What did you invite me for then?
Sorry, I know. Sorry, keep going, man. This is epic. I'm hanging off your every word.
So yeah, we're all sitting at the lineup up the top, and I just want to, like, usually when I'm surfing waves like this, I'm not out there to get multiple waves. I'm usually just out there to get one or two.
Like Greg Blong?
Yeah, I've surfed with him, and he kind of taught me that. I think I already had it in me where I've never been the guy who's like getting a million waves, especially when it's big. Like I just don't have that endurance or that kind of that drive to get a heap. I just more patient, want to wait, and I'm more than happy to wait for a really good one. So I waited out there. Maxie even worded me up. He goes, like, the ones that are coming through, these aren't sets. He goes, the set will come through every hour and you'll know when it's a set. So I waited out there. A few of the boys were on rotation getting waves. I think I paddled for maybe one or two that just wouldn't let me in. So I'm no guru at Deadman's, but like there's a boil that you see everyone go over and get lit up. But there's another boil that breaks out the back from that you get the chip in that allows you to scoop around that boil that does the shipstons thing. And
take the step on after it.
Yeah.
So you can prepare for the step.
Maxie's one was a perfect example of that, going around that boil rather than over it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just had the tactic of waiting out on that outer boil. Paddled a couple times within I think I was out there for maybe 2.5 hours. I paddled a couple times for ones that I just couldn't quite get that chip in off that outer boil. So, yeah, I was just being a sitting duck out there. So I think for a lot of guys who probably didn't know me, they're probably like, this guy's just fucking, pulling back. He's not out here for the right reason. But I just held my ground. I just sat out there, just waited at the top. And then, I just heard the cliff erupt. There was just a lot. That day was amazing. It's like an amphitheater. There was just so many people along the cliff line. So as soon as this a set came from out the back, and everyone on the cliffs just hooting, whistling, yelling, and you knew something was up. So everyone started paddling for the horizon, and I kind of knew that boil is where you want to be. You don't want to keep going off that boil, or else you're just going to miss the chip in. So I kind of paddled. With the pack a little bit, but then I still wasn't even the deepest. I was probably fourth from the top, and I just seen all those four guys who were deeper than me just steam past the boils. So I kind of just moseyed my way kind of up the face of the wave, but then kind of turning at the same time. And then I just remember I seen no one else paddling for it, so I just put my head down, paddled as hard as I could. I still came and got sucked off the back of the boil, but I just had my head down and was paddling as hard as I could. On that 7.2, it was a beauty. It just glided me in. And I remember I jumped up because I felt this momentum of me kind of...
Yeah, so it was the first wave you'd caught on that board as well?
No, I've had that board since I was a grommet.
Okay, excuse me, sorry.
Sorry, no, I've had that board since I was a grommet. Surfed it a lot at a wave similar to Deadman's.
Okay.
Close to Maroubra here called Lurline.
All right,
so.
But that was your first wave at Deadman's that day?
Yeah.
Because I thought if that's the first wave you'd caught on that board as well, it just would have made it so epic. But anyway, keep going.
Sorry, can't do that.
Keep going.
But,
Keep going.
No, I glided in and I felt this lift off, and I just jumped to my feet. And you've probably seen the footage. It looks like I jumped to my feet and I'm not quite cracked the wave yet. And you'll see me do kind of 2 pumps, and I just kind of rode the lip down and bang, my fins connected with the open face of the wave, and then I shot off like a rocket. I honestly there's only been a couple times where I've felt that speed whilst being on a surfboard.
How close do you think you were to being caught in the lip and going over?
I don't think I was close to going over the falls, because that initial part at the start wasn't top to bottom. It was more like a little kind of almondy feather thing that allowed me to chip in. And I think I kind of rolled down over that kind of so it wasn't like I was going free falling from the top, but my hands went up in the air, fins connected to that mid face of the wave, and I shot off to the bottom. And I just remember I was going so fucking fast. I grabbed my rail and did the biggest bottom turn, and I was trying not to diagonally go across the wave because I knew that was going to end me above that boil. So I tried to do this straight line down it. And as a backhand, on your backhand, I was trying to do a check turn as I was pulling my rail, hoping to kind of bleed a lot of speed because I was going Mach 10. So
hoping to bleed speed?
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to miss the barrel?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was going for glory. I knew this wave was going to be a straight up closeout.
So there was no fear of I want to outrun the barrel because I'm scared.
Nah.
Okay.
You don't know Cooey then, eh?
Well, let's get to know Cooey.
Yeah. No, they're out there for one reason. I wanted to get that one that you've seen every swell that one person gets. So get to the bottom, do this bottom turn, and then I kind of do this check turn, and then I look and I just see there's a shoulder, and I was like, holy shit, this isn't closing out. And I just remember I was pig dogging, and then I just seen, and then it felt like this huge spit behind me, and I wasn't deep in the barrel. I was probably just borderline in it. But, I've looked back at the footage a million times and I've thought, if I just maybe faded a little bit more. But if I've looked at the footage, if you faded any more...
You milked as long as you could, I reckon, that one.
If I faded any more, there was literally this dry rock thing that I would have, I reckon, tripped over. So I kind of stoked on the line that I took, did that check turn, seen like a really beautiful barrel, like it was amazing. Felt that spit behind me, and I was going so fast out onto the face. And I remember I just did this high line pump and looked down, and it just looked like it was like I don't surf this wave much, so I don't really know what the wave does after that bit. So I just went, I'm going for it. So I just kept going. I high lined it, just trying to gather as much speed as I could. Dropped down the next section, and I shit you not, Pete, it looked like a full north death like slab coming at Cape.
Yeah.
And I just remember being so far behind it, but I had so much speed, and I just did that big high line pump, and I go, holy shit, I'm gonna make this. And I just remember I pig dogged, and I thought I was gonna make it, and I was like, it felt like a crazy toe Cape barrel, and I was getting the best vision, and then all of a sudden the foam ball caught up with me, and I bounced up into the ceiling, had a really gnarly wipeout. Like it wasn't, I didn't get hurt in the terms of like my board didn't hit me or anything like that, but it was just like what you'd expect, like a violent kind of like thrown around, maybe 10 somersaults underwater. I had my impact vest on, so I knew I was coming up. I didn't hit any rocks underwater or anything, but it was a long hold down. And I just remember after I was pretty like, at peace. Like I wasn't struggling to get up or anything. And after the energy kind of faded, I did a couple pumps up to the surface and came up, and I didn't realize how long it had been. And the next one, boom, mowed me. And I was so close to getting a 2-wave hold down.
No way.
And what emerged from that was what I think one of the most iconic photos out there. That photo that guy got of you the bottom turning shot from the cliff. I remember seeing that going, oh, I missed this big time. Like, I remember just thinking that morning, like, do I go down the coast or do I follow QE?
Yeah, where were you that day?
You called me when I was coming back from down the coast. You're like, Pete, I just got one of the best waves of my life out Deadman's. And I was like, shut up. No, you didn't. And then he sent me like an iPhone clip, and I was just like in the car just like...
I actually don't recall any water photographers out there. It doesn't seem like it'd be very
I think there's
doable.
a couple of things with Deadman's. It's actually really hard to get close to the wave, and then you can't have skis in the harbour either. You can't shoot from a ski. Because you're not allowed to launch from the harbour, and there's nowhere close by that you can actually get to.
Yep.
So the water shots are pretty limited from that joint, from what I've heard.
Yeah. There was a kid who got a water shot. I forget who it was, but he sent it to me, and it was out of focus, unfortunately. No, he was in the spot. Because I remember when I did that bottom turn, and I was in that first barrel, I seen someone with their hand up taking a photo, and I was like, holy shit, this is going to be the shot. And then, unfortunately, it was out of focus. But it's all good. It wasn't about that anyway.
Nah.
But, I'll keep going while I got the momentum. So I was just, like, getting ragdolled, like, so stoked that I didn't just get that 2-wave hold down. I got that little sip of air, like, a quick little one before the next one got me. And then finally by then I was, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, is it called, what's the last bit of that Deadman stretch? Is it Fairy Bower?
Fairy Bower, yeah.
That's where the island is.
I was well and truly in there. Like I was in at that beach.
Shelly Beach.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
Shelly Beach.
pushed so far in there.
Did you call it after that?
This is where it gets better. So I then looking for my leg rope, and I pull the board in, and then I hop on it, and I feel like, when you hop on your surfboard, and one of the first things I do is like, you grab your rails, and I always like rub my hands under the board.
Yeah.
It's damaged.
Fully creased.
Oh, no.
Creased. Yeah. So
You got one wave that day.
got one wave under. But yeah, like the board was creased, but then it didn't even matter because I remember like there was no one else in that area. And I just remember paddling in, and I had like my hands on my head. I think I said out loud, I was like,
So you paddled into Shelly Beach?
yeah, I paddled in. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
is that how you get in at Deadman's?
I think so, yeah. I think that's how you
I've never
get in.
surfed it.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't go up the rocks there, I don't think. Yeah, I think everyone goes into the Shelly Beach. But I just remember like hands on my head as I was kind of getting like hit by like waves coming in. And I was like, holy shit, did that just happen?
Did you get emotional?
I was saying it to myself. Like I was saying it out loud, like not in my head. I was going, did that just happen?
Yeah, dude.
And then I was just like, that doesn't happen to people like me. Nah. And then like I came in and like, just went up the rocks and actually bumped into a friend who bumped into Emma, and she said like, oh, did you get a couple waves at that? And I was like, yeah, I got one. I only got one wave, but like I think it was a pretty good one. I was pretty stoked. I was like, yeah, cool. So then I walked back to the car, and as I was going back to the car, I had this guy with his little kid on his shoulders, and he came up to me and he goes, mate, were you just getting that one just then? And I was like, oh, you know, I got a set maybe like half an hour ago or something. And he was just like, mate, you got to see this. And he pulled his phone out and showed me his little...
That's the clip you sent me?
Dude, he showed me this iPhone clip and I remember looking at it and going, what the fuck? I was just like, that's not the wave I got. And I was like, mate, that looks huge. And I was like, surely it wasn't that big. He goes, mate, that was the biggest one that came through.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow. I was like, it felt good, but I didn't know it looked that good.
Yeah.
And then...
there was debates on that day whether Maxi's wave was better than yours, and I think it came down to like yours was way bigger, but Maxi's was rounder.
Oh, Maxi's just such a better surfer. Like he could surf me under the table like any day, and he's so technical. And that wave that he got was by far like the hardest wave I reckon anyone.
I think that's the most perfect wave that I've ever seen come out of that place. But yours was huge.
Yeah,
huge.
It just had this different, and I think that guy who got the photo from the land looking straight into it, where I'm doing that bottom turn. Yeah, it looks huge. It looks massive. I think I honestly, I don't know. Was it really that big? Like I think that photo makes it look huge.
I'd like to shout out this guy on Instagram that I follow, Daniel.G_photography.
Yeah.
This guy got a really, really good like professional video of that wave, and he's panning through the trees. And I think that's a good clip for you to show this wave of like, it's just...
For sure.
Yeah. I'll send you the photo later. But I remember seeing that like going, oh, my FOMO is raging.
Yeah. But then I got in the car and called my fiance straight away, and I was just like, I think she was at like a mate's birthday or something, and I was like, I think I just got the fucking wave of my life.
Really? You regard it as one of those?
I think at the time, the emotions I was feeling, it was definitely, it's been up there with some of the best rides that I've had.
Was it combined with not just the wave, but the actual context as well?
I think it was just combined with, I know how rare that wave is there.
Yeah.
I think like there's always one guy who gets that every swell, and for it to be me, I felt like, you know, I didn't deserve it because I haven't done a heap of time out there, and I just like, you know, I got one wave. Like I literally got one wave that whole session. So
it's a cool story.
Yeah,
it's a great story.
And you know, like me and Pete, like one of our best mates, Matty Dunsmore, he surfs that joint religiously, and I don't think he's had the chance of getting one though like that. So I feel very privileged.
See, this is where my mind goes to the spiritual aspect of surfing. Like, I'm sorry, like did that wave choose you? You know what I mean? Like, the euphoria you felt afterwards, you said, was maybe up there with some of the best feelings you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
But the moments leading up to it, you said you sat out in the water for an hour.
Oh, I was out there for about 2.5 hours.
Describe the mindset in that period of time, you know, when you see other people getting waves and you're not getting any, and you paddle for some and you just miss them. Like, what was going on with your confidence? What was going through your mind? Were you getting anxious?
Yeah, no, it's not... For me, it doesn't bother me when I see other people getting a heap of waves. Like I had one objective, and I do when I surf like all these types of spots, like, you know, Wedding Cake, that Deadman's wave. When I'm down at Depot, like people know that I'll just sit there and wait. Like I try really take on that Greg Long approach where it's like you don't need a heap. If you just wait, and then you get the respect from others. Like, you know, I'm not turning every wave and trying to get on it and missing it. I'm just sitting there and I'm trying to wait for that one.
Do you think that sends a message to the crowd?
I think so.
If you're sitting out a little bit further and you're not going for everything.
It depends as well. Like, I'm sure that there's crew that...
like, I think if you're Greg Long with his notoriety, people go, okay, well, Greg Long's sitting at Puerto Escondido. He hasn't caught a wave in 2 hours. Like, you know, he's waiting.
But he also knows as well, he's had the experience where he actually knows which one is going to be a good one, and he's not going to paddle for anything less. So I think that just comes with experience. Patience is a hard thing. It's a really hard thing. And exactly what you described, like a lot of people will start getting impatient, making the wrong choices, choosing the wrong ways, and eventually get hurt or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, it's a skill in itself to be able to be patient and wait.
Have you always been a patient person?
No, not at all. Ask my family, ask my fiance. I'm the most impatient person in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you like impatient and irritable, or just impatient?
No, I'm just like, Pete could probably back me on this. I'm always doing something, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't, I've got this TV here, but I don't watch it. Like I'll work from 7 in the morning, finish at 4 in the afternoon, go foiling or surfing till 6, come home, make dinner, go for a night dive and go try and get lobsters.
Really, in the same day?
Yeah, like I don't have ADD or anything, but I just I like to just, get at it.
Juice life.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Can I ask you a question, Kui?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Why do you chase the big waves and heavy waves that you do?
Yeah.
What's the feeling that you're after? Like, what is it about those waves that you're drawn to? And like, because I know, being your mate, that you don't just surf because you love surfing. You surf all types of different craft, and you're always in the water, but you're only really surfing when it's critical, dangerous. Why is that?
The one thing big waves always kind of drew me to was like personal progression. I'm not a competitive person. Like, yeah, when I was a grommet, I did a few board riders and stuff, but it never stuck. Like, I was always more chasing good swells, getting good conditions. I was very lucky as a kid, always on my dad's staff travel, so I was able to travel the world and, chase good spots like in Indonesia, go to Fiji, go to Hawaii and stuff. And for me, it was more getting that amazing wave or that amazing session versus like me going to the beach and being the best surfer. That was never on my to-do list. Like, it's I don't get any feelings from being better than the guy next to me in the water. Like, I'm more I'd be more stoked if the guy next to me in the water is having the best time ever.
That's
like,
cool.
That's
cool.
It's like a distinct lack of ego.
Why? I think my ego still gets in the way sometimes.
In what way?
I think it was ingrained in me when I was younger. Like, growing up in Maroubra, I think ego was a huge thing. I think that was something that I used to try and make myself feel better. I think like having that name where you're surfing big waves, you're a tough guy and all this shit was just like something that maybe I hid behind because I didn't really know who I was yet. So like, I was always been like the Asian guy in the group, and I was trying to be as Aussie as I could. So I was like surfing and trying to get a tan and, trying to be out of that like Asian category as much as I could and trying to get respect from my, friends that I was hanging out with. And it's like, oh, we respect that guy because he surfs, or he surfs big waves, or you know what I mean? Like, so
all of a sudden you were the Asian surfer, you were the big wave guy.
Yeah, like, and I think I maybe hid behind that, and I used that in my ego. It kind of maybe boosted my chest a little bit, but and then I got to say that like it's just addictive. Like the feeling of like personal progression, like ticking off all these waves. Like, I remember the first slab I ever surfed was red sands. The red sands turned into like, cowries, turned into, gillows down the coast, and then Cape Solander, and, the list goes on and on. It was just like trying to tick off all these things, and it's just like, and then trying to even just get a good wave at all these spots. It's always bettering yourself. I just, I get hooked to that feeling.
Do you reflect on your time growing up in Maroubra as a child with fond memories, or? I
had a great time. Yeah, no, I loved growing up in Maroubra, for sure. Yeah.
Like, you sort of just alluded to the fact that there was, I guess, awareness around your Asian heritage.
Yeah.
Were you ever subject to racism?
For sure. And like, I think it was, I'm not trying to defend people that are racist or something, but it's, it's like, oh, we're like, we're not making fun of you. Like, it's just like, I don't know, it's a hard one.
We're just joking.
Yeah, we're just joking, but that doesn't cover up for the hurtful things that you said if you just say, oh, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
So,
I copped it too, bro.
Yeah.
My father's Maltese.
Yeah.
But I was born in Australia. My mum is that, I guess, from white Australian heritage.
Uh-huh.
Both my fathers fought in the world wars for this country. But, yeah, because my surname was Maltese, or is Maltese, and then dark complexion, I was a wog.
Yeah.
We're just joking. Why do you surf? Or oil and water don't mix. Like, it's things like that. Oh, it's just a joke. Don't take it so serious. Yeah, and I did adapt to that, but it still hurt.
Yeah.
And I still felt like an outcast. Like, did you ever feel like an outcast within the surf community?
I think, yeah, definitely. I think like a really good moment that was pivotal, that nothing really even came about it afterwards, but I just remember one moment when I was a kid, the Cronulla riots. And, you know, like
They come up on this podcast all the time.
You know,
it's
like
really weird.
You probably know, like, the Maroubra guys were the white Australia, and then the guys from out west were the wogs that everyone wanted to fucking kill.
Yeah.
And then I remember being from the beach, so I was technically on the white Australia side, but I'm not white. And I remember being so conflicted and being ashamed to go down the beach. And I remember those feelings
Wow.
where, it was really hard. It was, and like at the time, I was probably only like a 12, 13-year-old kid. And like, it's just, I didn't know where I sat. And I think that's like probably where it blossomed, where I was like trying to crack into that white Australia side so much by getting respect from my friends from surfing and playing that maybe tough guy look and stuff. And not that I was ever a tough guy, but like
But you manifested it through surfing.
yeah, it was trying to get like respect. That's what it was deep down.
But still a deep love for the ocean and surfing.
Definitely, don't get me wrong, like I loved doing it, but I think that's where the origin was.
So as it evolved over time, did it shift? At what stage did it shift where it was like less concern about fitting in and more just pure passion?
I think I reckon it was probably early 20s when I realised I didn't want to go down the road of being kind of within that bra boy group. And I think everyone...
Was that a possibility?
Oh, definitely, for sure, 100%. Like
so
I was a kid.
You surf with those guys?
Yeah, I'm mates with them all, for sure. And like, you know, a kid growing up and then surfing, you know, hours back then, like, perfect candidate to roll into that. But I think I was always a little bit left to centre, and you know, like I went to a school in Bondi, so I had like, you know, my Bondi friends. I wasn't so just conditioned to Maroubra. I had a little bit of a different outlook. Had different friends. I'm super social anyway, so like I was always not just sticking with the crew that I grew up with, and I was always hungry for new connections, for travel. And yeah, I personally didn't choose to go down that road, and I think that's when it became like evident to me that I was learning a little bit more about myself, who I was, being confident in my own skin. And I think one person that I really got to thank for all that was my main boss, Dave. He's the roofer who taught me everything I knew. And
was this when you first left school?
Yeah, pretty much. Like the year after I left school. Yeah.
So you went straight into like a trade?
Yeah, correct.
What got you into roofing? What was it about roofing that you were like?
I actually didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
This guy Dave, he had a stepson who I surfed with, and I was, you know, doing odd jobs. I was helping shape up at the Central Coast, and then I was just looking for labouring jobs here and there. And yeah, my mate said, my stepdad's got labouring work if you want it. And I was like, sweet. So I came back down to Sydney, did some labouring work with him, and he straight away said, you want an apprenticeship? And I said, no, I don't want to do this job. Like, I'm happy making money doing it, but like my goal is I was on a gap year and I wanted to make money and piss off, travel, come back, make money, do it again. And
I'm so surprised at a young age, like saying you said gap year, so you just finished high school.
Yeah.
You had the mindset to go, no, I know what I want to do. I want to travel. And
well, it was also like, yeah, that's what I really wanted to do because that's what I loved. But I also had my head switched on to being a carpenter.
Right.
I really took a liking to woodwork at school and construction, and I enjoyed building stuff. I'm good with my hands, and you know, like when you're a kid, it's like plumber, electrical, carpenter. who wants to be a roofer when you're in high school? I didn't even know that was a trade. So like,
it's a tough trade.
It's a tough trade, especially when you're a labourer. You're literally just lugging tiles all day, and you're in the sun.
Sheet metal sometimes.
Yep, 100%. And like, you know, back then, you know, I was trying to get as dark as I could, get a suntan, look as Hawaiian as I could. So I was just getting sunstroke every second day.
Do you have a Hawaiian vibe?
Yeah.
Do you know my first job out of school, like as a trade, was roof tiling?
No way.
And my first day getting there, I was on a roof standing on battens, and there was Maoris throwing stacks of 4 tiles at me, and I was a skinny 17-year-old, and I was like, this is not my cup of tea. That was my first and last day. I was like, nah.
They get them fresh out of high school because no one else wants to do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I did it too. I told you that story when I fell through a roof, but it's gnarly.
Yeah, no, it's hard yakka for sure.
You don't look... I don't know how this is going to sound. You don't look too weathered. I'm sorry, but all the roofers I know, because they're out in the sun all day and there's the reflection off the roof.
Yeah.
But look what cool he eats every day. Like, he's got fish. He eats healthy. He looks after himself.
You know, like you don't have that, you know, like leathery look that they get. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, but
What's your skincare regime?
I think I'm blessed.
Shout outs.
I've got my dad's Asian oily skin, so I think I'm
Do you mind
lucky.
if I ask which part of Asia?
So dad's from Thailand, but his parents are both from China.
Okay.
So he's probably got more Chinese blood. We don't know where his parents, I'm pretty sure they were based in China too. But dad's from Asia, mum's from Ireland.
Yeah, right.
Mum's from Dublin. So,
Okay.
And then her dad's from England. So got a bit of blood everywhere.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. No, like, how did your family arrive in the eastern suburbs of Sydney?
No,
Do you mind if I ask?
No, that's a great story. I love telling it. Yeah, so Dad came here. He was like the typical story where he was fortunate enough to get a plane ticket over here, work his ass off and send money back home to his family. He was the lucky one out of his family where his dad took a liking to him and put him through university and college. Unfortunately, his sisters didn't get that opportunity, and I don't think his other brothers wanted it. But yeah, Dad was a clever one, and he did the study, got to work abroad, and send money back home. Mum was your typical Irish backpacker, straight to Bondi, suntanning all day, waitressing, and Dad loved music. He still does, and he was in a band and was playing in a band where Mum was waitressing. And
that's the best story.
Yeah, they linked up, and Mum thought he was a pest, and Dad was just chasing her and
chasing the tail.
And then both of them just fell in love with Sydney, and they didn't leave, and they were actually overstayed their visa and legal immigrants for a few years.
Cut that one out.
Dude, I'm ringing immigration.
Yeah, but no, it was really cool, and it's like a cool twist of the story was back in the day they were trying to get immigrants to come over to help Australia's economy and stuff, and at the time Bob Hawke was offering this free citizenship for people who were here. And Dad thought it was just a scam because he was like, they probably just want us to come in and they're going to lock us up and send us back home.
Send us to war.
Yeah, and then Dad had a couple mates who did it, and it worked. And then he was like, holy shit! So then Mum and Dad went and signed up, got the citizenship.
No way, dude.
And then had me and my sister, and feel so blessed to be in this country.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's just a rad story.
Yeah,
man. I love it.
So like it's the way I think. And then another cool end of the story is Dad loves golf now, and before Bob Hawke passed away, Dad got to play a game with him just randomly one day,
man.
and told him, and he goes, mate, you're the reason why me and my family are here. Imagine that.
That is.
I don't think anyone said a good thing about a Prime Minister lately.
Yeah.
Like imagine being able to, and still to this day when Bob Hawke passed away, like how
he was so
influential he was.
He
like
was.
not only the beer drinking stuff, but I think he actually was loved by the people.
He was really lovable, wasn't he? Like he
Yeah.
kind of like epitomised Australian culture of the 80s, you know.
Totally.
But still towards his older age, like going to the cricket and sculling the beer in front of everyone. Like,
I just thought that was a really special moment.
That's
Dad was
so special.
And it's like Dad was just playing with a couple of his mates, and I think Bob Hawke was on the next tee, and he caught up to him and thanked him.
Way.
Goes,
I seen Bob Hawke, I remember many years ago, probably like late 90s. He was obviously well retired then. And I was in Rose Bay, of all places. Don't ask me why I was there. O'Sullivan Road.
Mm-hmm.
And just some random elderly man was walking along, and I was on my skateboard, and I almost was about to run into this guy, and I sort of swerved off. I was like, I don't want to run over that old guy. And I look up, and it's Bob Hawke, and he's with his was with his girlfriend. Yeah, it's like, you walk. Go back to your own country. Go back out to Western Sydney, dickhead.
Fucking skater walk.
So you never ends, but you're only joking, aren't you, Pete?
I'm only joking.
Yeah, thanks for
that's
only
all
joking.
right for Pete to say.
I'm joking.
Middle-aged white guy.
But yeah. You dickhead Aussie skip.
I'm only joking.
Nah, but it was like, I remember just going, like, for me, I mean, I'm so disillusioned with Australian politics nowadays, where they just keep replacing prime ministers. But back then, that wasn't like this was our guy, and I think the prime minister felt the burden of that responsibility. And who knows, maybe they were trying a bit harder.
Yeah.
Maybe they felt more accountable.
Maybe it was just
era.
easier because there wasn't so many people's opinions. I feel like we're a little bit more complex these days.
Why?
Oh, I just think that there's a lot more different heads that are thinking different things, and it's hard to accommodate for everyone.
Also, the information's thrown at us from all different platforms. Like, we see a lot now, we hear a lot.
Well, you think about back in the day, it would have just been the newspaper,
Exactly.
and whoever's writing the news is convincing whoever.
Propaganda.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's got its issues.
Yeah.
But at least it's less complicated.
What about this Albanese, though? Like, I don't know too much about politics, but I know that I haven't heard too much about him. So he's obviously doing something right, because every other prime minister before him, all you hear is this guy, this guy, this girl, this guy, and I haven't heard much about him. So is he doing a good job?
It's an interesting point. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, too much other
Let's not
stuff
talk
going
about
on.
politics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from, though. Yeah, we like to vilify, don't we? The second we get a chance, we don't like to praise. You know, that's just humans in general, I feel like, you know.
I watched a good one the other day, though, if you want to watch something that makes you even more madder at ScoMo. But that bushfire doco they did, that nearly made me cry.
Did it?
I was on the plane watching it.
Which one was it? Which doco?
I forget what it's called, but just if you Google, like, you know, the bushfires, and it's just like the most recent doco that's coming out about it, and it just like... It's so heavy.
Yeah.
But, like, great documentary.
Yeah, right.
And it just shows, like, what went on behind the scenes, and great watch.
Yeah, man, I have to check it out for sure.
There's a book that I bought
yes.
called A Fire Inside. It's by a photographer called Matthew Abbott.
Got it.
And so I bought this, like, as soon as it came out, because I follow him on Instagram, and some of the photos and the areas that he was taken to, it's just incredible. Well,
Like-
not incredible, but so disturbing what actually happened, you know, like...
Wow.
I won't give away too much, but it's a beautiful book.
Is it?
Yeah. It shows you know, the fires. It shows planes like throwing retardant, and then it also shows communities in mourning. It's got everything. Hey, so if you're a person that collects like coffee table books and stuff, A Fire Inside is one to grab for sure.
Does it tell a story of the whole, like...
Yeah, through images. Yeah, for sure.
Does it give any hope at the end?
I'm not giving it away.
Okay, I want to check it out.
I don't know, actually. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That would,
Wow, man. So that's such a good story. Listen, I want to ask you. I've got a few questions actually written down. You know, it's a new thing I do. No, it's not. I've been doing it since I started the podcast. But okay, one thing I'm really, really curious to ask you about is, I know that I do want to go back to a bit more surfing. I know that during the pandemic, with all the lockdowns, you were able to get to Mexico, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And can you? And I know that you spent a fair bit of time actually surfing Puerto Escondido, correct?
Yep.
So for those that are unaware, it's one of the heaviest beach breaks in the world. Can you just like tell us the whole experience and how you were even able to get out of the country during that time?
So my fiance is from America, and just before the world lockdown of COVID, she returned home, and my plan was to go over there. But then before we could make up our minds, we both got shut down in our own countries. So we were actually apart for, I think it was a good 6 months. And I was applying online to get this exemption to leave here, to go to America. I kept getting denied. We were applying exemptions for her to come here, denied. This went on for 6 months, and we honestly didn't know when we were going to see each other again. It was gnarly. It was honestly so gnarly.
Was it gnarly because you actually had real feelings for each other?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I love this woman, and and we knew that quitting wasn't an option, but we were just when there's no light at the end of the tunnel, we have to wait a year, we have to wait 2 years, we need answers. And the thing was they were approving exemptions, but just so randomly, and so you just didn't know when your one was going to say yes. So I think we applied honestly 10 times, and then on the 10th time they accepted it. And the plan was, this was before the vaccines and all that stuff, the plan was for me to go to the States and try, she was living in LA at the time, try spend at least the least amount of time there as possible, because I was scared of getting COVID, to be honest. There wasn't much information back then, and people were getting pretty sick, I guess, and I just didn't want to be there. So the plan was to go down to Mexico, get our little Airbnb in Puerto Escondido, and stick to ourselves, just enjoy each other's company because we've been apart for so long. And I was lucky through COVID at that start. I was just working because that's all we could do. So I had a bit of money saved, went down to Puerto Escondido with the missus, and just got in this really cool kind of routine of Puerto Escondido is offshore pretty much from sunrise to midday. Clockwork every day. I would go out every morning pretty much and get my little hit of surfing in, and then we'd catch up for a late breakfast together, and then had a scooter that I hired for the 6 weeks that we were there, and buzz around town, do little day trips, and then by the evening would be so sunburnt and so just so sunburnt that we'd have to have a little siesta. I don't know why that's a thing in Mexico now.
So hot there. Yeah, it's so hot.
It's so hot. And then the evening we'd just kind of hang out. We had our own little villa, so we'd either cook or go out for dinner because it was so cheap, and we just got in a really nice routine. And I was lucky.
Magic.
We were there, I think, from September through to October, and that's kind of getting towards the end of season for Puerto. And I got lucky. The whole time I was there, I was never under 4 foot. Dude. Literally.
It's because the ocean. It's because the ocean loves you, bro.
I'm convinced it does. Hey, I'm seriously convinced it does.
I can just tell by being around the guy that you just exude that it's I want to do you a favour. You know what I mean? And I've actually was reading about that, it's a self-help thing in terms of confidence and happiness. And when you give off that sort of aura and that vibe, people want to do favours for you and things like that. I kind of feel like the ocean's doing the same for you.
Nice. Yeah.
But what a magic time with your girl, man.
Yeah, no, that was super special. And it was actually my 30th when I was over there as well.
Yeah.
She just surprised me on my 30th. I went out for a surf.
No
Actually
way.
had a magic session. It was full XXL.
So you were there for a proper swell, a proper Porto swell.
Proper
what are we talking? 12 to 15 feet?
I was wearing a life jacket.
Not an impact vest, an actual life.
An actual life jacket. Surf's up, boys.
No, were you wearing a vest where you pull
No. I was
an inflation vest?
I didn't bring big wave gear. I brought step ups and stuff. It's
what were you riding? Tell us what you're riding.
Ask any Australian. It's so hard to get big boards there. Airlines charge you exorbitant fees. It's just hard to lug around these big things, and
then the risk of them getting snapped because all that length going into a
pretty
plane.
much every board I bought there I snapped.
Yeah.
But
in transit?
No, surfing.
Oh, right. I was like, fuck.
Charger.
Yeah, so I got really lucky. On my actual 30th birthday, we had this huge swell, the ones that you see on the movies and stuff. And a few days before, I was lucky enough, made friends with these Brazilian guys, and he had a mate who rented me a surfboard. The whole thing was if I snap it, I pay for it. And I was like, yeah, sweet. Yeah. So it was this beautiful 9.6.
local shaper?
No. It wasn't a
I was
local
gonna say.
shaper. It was a Californian shaper. I'm just trying to think.
Christensen?
No, it wasn't a Christensen. Oh, it'll come to me. But beautiful. Like, it actually wasn't a shape that I would normally ride. It was really toothpicky, like super narrow, super long, a lot of curve in it. I usually like my big boards quite flat for paddle speed. But, beggars can't be choosers. So I had this board, went to this local surf shop. He had a wakeboarding life jacket that I just said, can I rent this off you? And he was like, yes, sweet. And didn't have a big wave leash, so I went, fuck it, I'm going leashless, because I just got told that's what you do there.
Yeah.
Even though when I got out there,
Makes
I've seen
sense.
no one with no leash on.
They all have leashes.
Well,
I just say that to
they tell the tourists.
Yeah.
You get out there, you bunch of cute quarters.
Just to send you in.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
got lucky. Like, when it's that big, you gotta go down to the northern side of the beach. There's like a fishing bay there, and you paddle out through this rip that, well, I wouldn't even call it a rip. You're still paddling out through like a 4-foot dumpy shorey, which is extremely hard when you got a 9.6.
Yeah.
Like, you can't duck dive it. You literally just got to time it, and when you don't have a leg rope on as well, it's like. Yeah, it's hard.
You're wearing a life
it's
jacket.
really hard. Yeah, well, life jacket didn't really make a difference, to be honest. But I just same deal. Like, got out the back. That day it was favouring the lefts. I forget what that side of the beach is called. That's if you're heading down towards
La Punta
La
Zicazelle.
Punta. Yeah. So we were all heading down that way. So it was a bit of a marathon. Like, you paddle out to the northern side of the beach, paddle all the way down the other side of the beach, and then you wait there and I just, same thing, like what I always do, just wait, especially it's hard. The Mexican guys, they don't usually let much go through. So, like, you got to just wait and be patient. So my plan was to kind of just go a mammoth one that no one else wanted. That was my plan. Because I couldn't get a normal one. Like,
But I got this feeling that there wouldn't be too many people who wouldn't want those ones as well. At that place.
The thing, like, I was really surprised because, like, all my experience with waves like of this size, there's a tiny handful of guys who actually are out there. At Puerto Escondido, there is so many people out there. Like, it's insane. Like, I even seen like 60-year-old dudes who, like, don't look like they should be out there. They got like pool vests and stuff, and they're just out there.
That's happening everywhere. I've seen that at Ulus recently. At Ulus recently, like, people turning up on a proper swell with proper boards and inflation vests, and then they can barely paddle. They definitely can't duck dive or navigate those length boards through whitewater.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just a new thing.
Yeah.
There's numerous places.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, around here. I'm not going to say where or who, but it's happening a lot now.
Is it?
Yeah.
You'd see it as a water photographer. Jesus.
It's an interesting one too, because, like, these life jackets are nearly giving these people a false sense of security.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting.
And, like, it's so easy these days to order a 9.6 or even just buy a 9.6 off the rack. Like, you can just get it, and then you don't even have to, like, with the pool vests, the Patagonia ones, you have to do like a safety course and stuff. But the impact vest, you can just go to Patagonia store and just buy one.
Yeah.
Next big swell, just get out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just it's an interesting thing because I'm not saying the way we did it when we were younger was better, because you actually had to, fend for yourself, and it was maybe a bit more dangerous. But I'm all about safety, and I'm all about, like, this equipment evolving, and I think it's a good thing.
What would you say to a person out there that's thinking about just going out and getting a big board and a vest and giving it a crack, that hasn't got much experience in big waves?
I think they just gotta be prepared to take responsibility for themselves. And I think they also have to understand that if they put themselves in a shit situation, the situation that they have to get whoever's rescuing them into.
That's the big thing. Are they thinking that someone's going to try and have to rescue me if shit goes bad, and then they're going to put other people in jeopardy? That's what I think they don't consider.
I can guarantee the people who are going out there doing that with that mindset, there's not one thought going through their head about what happens if something goes wrong. There's not. That hasn't been thought about.
Yeah.
And I think that's a super naive way of thinking, and it's an inexperienced way of thinking.
Yeah.
So I think that's just one thing people have got to start thinking about, and
No, that's good.
It's
good message.
Yeah, I just think like I've been around this stuff for forever, and the amount of accidents I've seen, and I think a really good one was we were down Depot, and I think it was Russ's board, or was it Sean or someone? Their board hit them, and the lineup was so busy, and not one person even flinched to even be like, what's going on? And I remember I was paddling and yelling out, and I knew that there was a lifeguard out there, and I was like, oi, go see Russ, because like, you know, you're a professional, like you know what you're doing. And everyone was
just like a lifeguard on a jet ski?
No, like he was, I know that he's a
actually
lifeguard.
surfing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And like, I was
because I was going to
like,
say there's not usually water safety at that place.
No. But I was just like, and there's been another time where we were down the coast, like Wollongong, and it was really heavy, and Harry Steele went missing for a sec. And I remember Dean and myself, we like paddled in because we just didn't see him surface. And like, you know, other people were just, there was even 2 jet skis out there, and I think both of them were just on their phones. And we were whistling at the jet skis going, oi, like, where did Harry go? And everyone's just like, oh, just looking around. Like, it's just, I don't like that attitude of, like, there's no sense of community, or no sense of like, you know, what happens if your mate goes missing. Everyone's out there just for themselves, and I just reckon that's shit.
You've surfed your whole life. Are these elements of surf culture that has prompted you to explore other ways to enjoy the ocean?
Definitely. I think the foiling thing that I've been doing lately, it's got the best community that I've ever been involved in. Super welcoming, super...
See how I led into that?
Yeah. Nah, but like it's...
Can't believe we went this long without you talking about foiling.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I really enjoy this foiling community. Like, I've never been in a community where there's zero ego. People are more than willing to help each other and give each other information about how to get better. There's none of this like, look at me, like I've done this, done that. It's like, it's not that at all. And that's what's killed me with surfing lately, especially with the growth of social media and people one-upping each other which is great for like the progression.
To push, yeah.
But like, it's detrimental as well. Like, I think, people just want to go for that. It's contradictive as well, because I guess I've done it a lot myself when I was younger, but I think it's just people are impatient and want the glory now, but instead of working themselves up to it.
Let's workshop it a little bit. Like okay, why does surfing breed this? Or is it something that's just been bred from the start? Or is it is it the nature of the activity? Is it the scarcity of waves? You know, like what do you think it is? Like, could you pinpoint it to one or two things?
So I've been told that the phase that we're going through with foiling right now is what surfing used to be like.
And I was going to ask you that.
Honestly,
right.
I'm not that I've experienced it, but like, you know, when surfing really boomed in the 60s, I got told this is what it was like. Like, you know, if a tourist rocked up at your beach with a surfboard, you'd be stoked because you'd be like, I haven't seen another surfer here before. Enjoy my waves.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it by saying, you know, there's a scarcity of waves with how many people are doing surfing these days. And I think it's really bred this, like, you know, secret spots and, like, if localism and, like, it's just people, it's me. You know, I don't want you to come to my spot because it means less for me.
Well, here's a question: when you're in a good surf session, the waves are pumping, and you see someone get a good wave, are you either answer A or B? A, stoked for that person, or B, oh fuck, I want to sit where he's sitting.
Nah, always stoked. Always stoked.
Okay,
because
see, not everyone's like that.
No.
Like a lot of, I mean, myself included. I see someone get a good one, I'm like, sometimes it's like, oh damn it, I want that one. Damn it, I'm going to go sit where he was sitting.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're fighting for that spot. You know.
I think what it is though is like, I know where to sit, and it's being able to put yourself in that position, because probably where that guy was serious consequence. So that's why he deserves that good one. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to put themselves in that spot to get that one, but they want that one anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Like, you think about any heavy wave, like you either have to sit inside where you could potentially get cleaned up by the next one, or you got to sit that bit deeper where you potentially could get rolled on the rocks. And I think what I'm alluding to is that, you know, people want that one, but without putting in the hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, dude, so good.
Yeah.
I think you summed it up really well, brother.
Yeah, and I think like with these days, like you see a lot of people who will just like, you've probably seen it, Pete. You get that guy who surfs like that wave for the first time, and all they want off you is that photo so they can fucking glorify that they've done it, even though maybe they didn't even make that wave.
Yeah, do you get that, Pete? Like, did you get that one? Did you get that?
I'll tell you what I hate.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
I hate sitting in the channel and I'll have a group of people say hello to me, but the people that didn't are the first to contact me and be like, hey, man, I was riding an orange board. Did you get that shot? And I'm like, I would 100% have got that shot if we have had a communicated.
You just had to say good morning.
Yeah, I mean, like...
No, just kidding.
I'm always out there in the water for different reasons anyways. Like I'm there to more for myself, you know. I enjoy being in the water. I want to be at that heavy spot, but I don't necessarily want to throw myself over that ledge, but I want to be a part of it. But yeah, it's a tricky one, but I just enjoy being in the same vicinity as these guys, and I respect, you know, there's a line up and everything. I just choose not to throw myself over the ledge at this point.
Yeah. But also, you're observing it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
So you're witnessing what's going on with that. What Josh was referring to,
which is scarier.
I think
being in his position, watching what's coming through is terrifying.
I don't see it. Yeah.
But then also, like, when these people ask me for these photos, I'm like, if you had to thrown yourself over the ledge, then I probably would have got the photo, eh? Have a go.
Yeah, have a go.
That's a good point, Pete. Like, I'm a big advocate for that. Like, when you're out there, you know, don't just be me. Like, this is the wave. Did you get the shot? Did you get my shot? Go out there and just have a chat. Have a chat to that photographer that's just swimming out there for the last 3 hours treading water. You know, just say, how you going? Did you get, like, you been getting a few good ones? Like,
and this is some people just,
some people, and I'm sure you've seen this, they'll just paddle past you. Not even acknowledge you as a person.
Yeah, it sort of doesn't really bother me anymore. Yeah, like now, as a person that's been heavily involved in both types of craft, like skateboarding and surfing, I think surfers have a lot to like sort of learn from the skate community, because what I've noticed being a skater is it's very much about the community and cheering each other on and hugs and all that, whereas like you were saying before, it doesn't really feel like that in surfing at the moment. It feels very much, it's just about the one person, like the me. And not to say that that's not happening in surfing. Like, there is definitely like a cool culture in surfing where everyone's sticking together. Like, for example, like there's a guy from down my way, like Kalani Ball, and he's on the Challenger Series right now. And what I've noticed in the Challenger Series is all the Australians are like together and cheering each other on. And it just reminded me of back like when I was a young kid watching like Taj Burrow and Joel Parkinson and all them on tour. Like, they're all cheering each other on, having a good time. And that's really cool to see. But then, you know, you go home and there's a lot of sort of waves around here. And like you're saying, it's just me.
Describe foil surfing for someone that doesn't know.
Okay, so foiling, when we say that, just means like this contraption that's under a kind of boogie board looking thing called a hydrofoil. So it looks like an aeroplane that's connected to this pole that's then connected to this boogie board looking thing that you surf on.
Correct.
We call it a mast.
It's a mast. Okay.
Yeah, and then the foil is like the wings and the tail wings and stuff.
Okay.
And so like with this like we call it like prone foiling, it's exact same like surfing. You paddle out at the beach, paddle into a wave, and as you get pushed by the wave, that force engages this lift off from your foil, and that ejects you into the sky. And as that happens, you jump to your feet and use that pressure to push it down, which directs it forward, which that speed then that makes the foil go up again, and then you push it down again, and then you continue to keep moving. Yeah.
Regardless of how much swell there is, like, it needs very little.
Yeah, so these foils pick up the tiniest energy in the ocean. So you want to go out when it's, you know, tiny, like knee high, chest high, because when it gets any bigger, the foil just flies into the air, like you've got no control.
So that's actually a question. So when you do ride them in bigger waves, like will it lift so much that it will actually pop out of the water?
Yeah, so this is when there's so much gear.
Then you get a quiver.
That's when you got like a big wave foil that's meant for, it's really tiny and it's meant for going really fast, and it can hold speeds of 60 kilometers an hour. Like it's insane.
It's full hydrodynamics.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool community because you got the guys like me who are like, core surfers who transition into foiling that have this surf skill already that they can kind of morph into foiling. And then you have these other guys who are like aeronautical engineers that are just so gear nerdy that they just love how this works. And then like they might not be as naturally gifted at the water sports, but they're just so infatuated with how to change this little nuance to make themselves better. And it's like
the 70s where like they were putting more fins on boards. It's kind of like
totally,
that now.
Totally.
Yeah, okay.
On like a way more dynamic version. Yeah.
So it's mimicking wind dynamics, but it's hydrodynamics, really.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's
correct.
like a wing. It's a wing, really. At the bottom.
Is. Yeah.
Can I ask you a couple of questions about foiling?
Yeah.
Do you know much about the history of it?
The history. So I think the first hydrofoil was in the America's Cup, and I think there's a documentary on Netflix that I watched. And
that was a long time ago, right?
Yeah, well, the America's Cup where they introduced this from Australians was, I think, it looked like the footage was back from the 80s or something like that. Maybe the 60s. I don't know. I could be fully screwing this up, but where it first came into the surf scene was all the strap crew in Hawaii, like the Laird Hamiltons and all that. They had the ski boots strapped to the like surfboard that doing pretty much.
I was going to ask,
Jaws.
was it the first prototype like an actual surfboard with a foil on it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was like the Laird Hamilton crew. That was super impressive, and then it just went dormant. And then in the last 4 years, it's taken into the mainstream, and there's plenty of brands now making gear, and there's competition, and there's a lot of people getting hooked into it. Yeah.
I feel like these days you see one all the time. Like one, not a pack, but you'll see one.
Yeah.
Pop in, foil for a bit, and then that's it. You'll walk in. It looks taxing. Like it doesn't like you can be doing 6-hour sessions like you would on a surfboard.
It's different. Like it's really hard coming from surfing and thinking that you can just pick this up because it looks kind of similar to surfing but above the water, like you're levitating.
I can just tell it's not.
There's so many different like.
You're not really laying rail.
No, because the board's never
That's
touching
what I mean.
the water. No, yeah.
Is it just gentle leans heel to toe?
Yeah, and there's like a lot of minute movements. Like it could be a toe movement that directs the board in a different way.
That refined.
That refined.
So like is it similar? You know how surfing's predominantly like you're on your back foot, pushing down often to control and maneuver the board. Is it more like centered weight, so you're balancing your weight evenly on front and back foot?
Very much, yeah.
Like similar to snowboarding?
It's very snowboardish like.
Okay.
Yeah. The way I describe it to a lot of people is if you've ever done a powder run, it's like bombing down a hill and just doing those arc turns. But the way that like the difficulty level I try to describe to people is like it's like you're balancing on a medicine ball and trying to do tricks.
Right.
That's how hard it is at the start.
Hard on the legs?
Yeah, it's hard on the legs. Like it's a lot on the
Give me a
quads.
look at your legs.
Yeah.
Dude, look at those
the big
guns.
boppers.
It's hard. Like it's honestly the hardest thing I've ever done in the water.
Really?
Yeah, by far.
No way.
Yeah.
Different though.
Different, but addictive.
You seem addicted, and I've never really been interested in foiling until I've started watching your clips, and I'm like, I'm all of a sudden having these feelings of like, man, maybe I should get a foil.
I was
like,
the
I'm going to
same.
talk to Josh about it.
When I first started seeing him at the beach, I was like, get out of here.
Yeah, I know.
And then I watched you, I was like, nah, this is pretty cool. I like that.
What's a good one in the car park when people see foils? Like, oh, fucking watch out, those things will fucking decapitate you.
Yeah.
Look at that guy, he's going to kill someone.
Look at this idiot.
Yeah.
There's people 100 metres away, he might hit them.
No, you got, and I know the exact type of guy who's going to say that. That's the old guy who's been surfing the same wave and the same 6.0 by 18 by something for the last 30 years, and he thinks that he owns that part of the beach. But the majority of the community, when you come in from the surf, are so
Frothing.
fascinated.
Oh, are they? Okay.
They're like, we just seen you guys like pumping around for ages and like getting a million waves, and like that looks fascinating.
What do you
Like,
think of the ones with a little motor on them, though? Cheats.
It's for a different person. Like it's usually the older guys who are a bit richer and not into like the whole cardio side of things.
It's the same kids riding around on those motorbikes, those electric bikes these days. I'm like, oh, back in my day, we used to pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you had those electric bikes, you would have been on one for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
You couldn't afford shit.
Look at me, I'm not pedaling up the hill.
While vaping.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Yes.
Electric bikes and vaping. Yeah.
No, Shannon, the foiling is fully taken over my life.
Are you sponsored by a foiling company?
Yeah, no, I'm really lucky. I've got a few sponsors. I got Unifoil and got a sponsor over Manly WSS, and they look after us. And I've been really fortunate. Like I don't know if it's because it's an early sport, and I've just kind of gone ham on it on the Instagram, and they love that. But
No, I personally think it's because you're good at it. Like, let's stop talking like that. You're good at it, man.
You do.
Like,
You
you're
flow.
really good at it.
He flows, eh? Like you see some people on them, and you just like all of it, like they're like pumping really hard all the time, and it's like real jerky. But then you watch Josh's clips, and it's like he's gliding on the ocean. And I feel like I want to lay some like that Enya music over it. You know,
Maybe I'll do that for the next
sail away. There's Josh going, and then he's yeah, and then his hair's flowing, and it's like, oh man, that Hawaiian guy rips on that thing.
Yeah, but I can't do it at Vui anymore.
Did you used to do it at Vui? What do you mean you can't? Have you done it at
He
Vui?
said that there was a guy at Vui saying, fuck, that Josh Koo guy's got to stop posting clips.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh right, I forgot that was on
Vui.
during dinner.
Vui.
Spot X.
Spot X. Yeah, it's like it's another secret spot. It's a secret spot, secret in plain sight in the busiest city of Australia.
No, I think on its day, that's a good way for it.
Mate,
know?
sick.
Yeah.
We're gonna get tubed there.
Why?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You think? Have you? Okay. Has anyone been tubed on a foil?
I think that Matahi guy in Tahiti's gotten tubed. Yeah.
At Chodes?
Chodes.
No.
Like proper
Towed in
Chodes.
though. Towed in.
Yeah, towed in.
Would that be an occasion where he would have a small foil?
Yeah, 100%.
What about the shallowness of the water
Yeah,
there too?
is
Would
he
that-
gonna hit the reef?
No, the mast and the foil is not super deep underwater. Like it might be a foot.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
So you got play.
That looks so sick. And then I just saw another clip, which I shared with you, is Kai Lenny doing the double backing off the wave.
He's always
like,
in another realm.
What?
Yeah, he's in another realm, that guy.
Who do you regard as some of your biggest influences?
Influences, I think my boss that I was saying before, he showed me a lot of like my characteristics. I pretty much mimicked his characteristics and his business model and how he deals with people and
Even
how he
people that
approaches
shortchange
life.
you?
Yeah. I think he's one at like being like, you just need to not let those things bug you, because if you stew on them, it's not gonna do any good for you. Who else has influenced me? Well, in what sense? Like you're talking?
Any sense? I'm not talking about surfing. It can be surfing. I mean, I feel like a surfer would be an obvious one.
Yeah.
But in and out of the water, or both.
I think a lot of the people that I hang out with, they're influential on me, and like that's the reason why I like to have them around me.
Fuck
you
yeah,
know?
dude.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. And like I've got a heap of mates. Like I got Pete next to me, who I love hanging out with. Like his outlook at life and like his enthusiasm. Like I love. That's why I wanted him here today. Pretty
Thanks,
much.
man.
Yeah, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, I did. And I've got like a few other mates who like, who push me, and like I share a jet ski with a mate of mine, and his outlook at life, and he's always just charging, and like he's never fazed by anything. He's always just like
Positive?
super mellow. Yeah, he's positive for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I'm just I'm always just kind of the people I hang around with. I love just kind of
Dude, I've been reading a lot about that. Have you ever heard that saying that you're a product of the 5 closest people to you in your life? That resonates with me.
Yeah.
And I think you got to choose your company very wisely.
Definitely. Yeah. I think that's where it changes, because when you're a kid, you hang out with the kids that you grew up with, and there's no like escape from that, because maybe you don't know how to make new friends or you're too afraid.
It's safe.
But then I think when you get older and you get exposed to all these people who are from different walks of life, and then you're like, my friends that I did grow up with, they're kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like any of my mates I grew up with that are shitty. I'm just saying maybe they don't gel with the things that I do now, or maybe their way of life is different to the way I approach life now. And
everyone changed so quickly.
Yeah,
as soon as they leave school, you change a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't see too many people staying friends from school all throughout life. It does. There is.
It does happen.
It does happen, but
it does happen.
It's rarer than the other.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to go back to Greg Long.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you, in terms of surfing and approach to surfing and that connection with the ocean kind of vibe, like I feel like you represent that to me. I've always really looked up to Greg Long, like, and love what he does. And so when he's in the water and you're with him at Porto, for example, like what's his vibe like? What's his aura like?
So he just kind of, he's not the one in the middle of the pack where everyone's laughing and joking and like, you know, he's the center of attention. He just sits a little bit further out from the pack. He just waits there. You know, if someone says g'day, like paddles out says g'day, like he won't really interact on a super like deep level because, you know, he's out there for one thing. He's out there trying to like get the job done, get a good wave. And I understand that. And I've done a safety course with him and he's told that to me. He goes, you know, like he's a professional surfer, and when he's out there to get the job done. You know, when we come in, we can get a coffee, we can have a beer, we can chat all you want.
Yeah.
But he goes, when I'm out there, I'm doing my breathing, I'm getting in the zone, and I'm prepping my body. So when that comes, that wave, I'm got no excuse that I didn't get it. You know.
Yeah.
So I've definitely taken a liking to that. And the one thing that when I first came across Greg Long and we were surfing together. And we came into the beach and we just happened to be walking like across the street at the same time. And he said to me, he goes, hey, mate, what's your name? And then I said, Josh. And he was like, oh, man, you were ripping out there. Good work or something. And I was just like, dude, I didn't say this to him, but I said to like, you know, my missus afterwards. And I was like, that dude is so cool. Like, when do you ever get a guy of that stature going to the guy who's a nobody and being like, hey, what's your name? Like, you know, and then he introduced himself and said, I'm Greg. And then I was just like, you're my new hero. But I didn't say it, but I was just like in my head. And I was just like, you know, I want to be a bit like you. So I just like, I really like that approach. And I think a lot of people, I'd find it hard to find someone who doesn't like him. I think maybe because he's a little bit introverted in some ways, maybe some people would take that as he's not very nice or something, but I can see through that. He's, you know, some people introverted, some people aren't as social as others, but I think, yeah, it was really cool what he did that day on that street walking past the road.
Yeah, that humility, man, like it just, I love it, you know. Yeah. I love those stories of humility. They just really sit with me so well. So thanks for spreading that message, man.
No, definitely. And the one thing that I've noticed with the foiling lately is that I've got a heap of people now hitting me up saying like, oh, what about this and what about that? I'm just getting into it and all this stuff. And, you know, like when I got into it, I had my mate Jeremy, who I was talking about before, and he helped me and told me what to get and all this stuff and took the time out of his day to do that. And now I feel like the baton's passed and, you know, I love it when people reach out to me. You know, and it happens to me when I try to reach out to someone and maybe they'll just double tap and like it. Yeah. You know, or it says seen and nothing written back. And I'm like, are you really that busy? You can't write a 2-second response. Are people that busy these days? And it shits me. So I'm trying to really, you know, create those connections and create the sense of help and just be there, because I remember being in that position.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Yes, brother.
Yeah.
Dude, how you feeling? How you guys feeling?
Good. Let's keep ripping.
What about under the water?
Oh, okay.
We've spoken about above the water. You're also a master under the water. Am I not wrong, righty?
Yeah, no, I do. I love my spearfishing.
We just ate fish that you caught.
Yeah. No, that's a love of mine as well. Spearfishing, pretty much anything to do with the water. But yeah, diving was my big thing before foiling. Spearfishing was my exit pretty much out of surfing, because surfing for me just wasn't really ticking the boxes anymore. And, you know, I wanted to be a kook again. So I was exposed to spearfishing through a few friends, and I got completely hooked because I started from the full bottom where I knew nothing, and I could see progression each session, progression each year, and I just love learning. And there's so much to learn out there, and like it also breeds like a sense of respect of the ocean as well. Even though some people might look at spearfishermen as awful people killing things in the ocean, but you know what? I've never known so much about the ocean now that I've been under the water, seen how these creatures and fish operate. The
same people that go buy them from the store, though. Hey,
yeah, definitely. And like I'm no like massive greenie or anything, but like, you know, I think the respect that teaches you, because you can see maybe that, like, you know, that fish population is depleted, so like you shouldn't be shooting that fish because they don't repopulate as quick. Or you learn that, like, you know, those other fish like mahi, they're growing non-stop, and that's a fish that you should take because like, you know, it's sustainable. It's just, yeah, it's fascinating. I really love the learning process, and with diving, it takes you into a form of kind of meditation that I've never ever tapped into. It also teaches you about breath work, another thing that I've never learned. And all these things cross over so well when it comes to surfing, foiling, and just all round. I think like you would have, like everyone would have seen these days, like there's so many more breathwork courses coming up, so much emphasis on meditation, how good it's for your mental health and stuff. And this is free in the form of getting dinner as well.
And does it all for you in one go.
Without you even knowing. Like, you know, people find it really hard to get in the zone and meditate. Well, I can guarantee when you hold your breath and go underwater, like you learn that pretty quick because you want to hold your breath for longer.
And it's quiet.
It's quiet.
And there's no phones or computers under there.
You're very present down there.
You are.
Yeah.
Tell us some shark stories. Every spearfishman has a shark story.
You know what?
Let's go.
That shark attack that happened, I don't want to talk too much about it. It was horrible. But when I heard about that, I was like, fuck, I know Kiwi dives there, eh?
Yeah, that was a tough one.
And I called you straight away that hour. I was like, oh, he answered. Thank God. It's all right.
No, that was a tough one for sure. That shark attack, that brutal one that got shared around virally, that was at our local spot that we dive pretty much every day. We do this run that goes from one point around to the next point, and we just swim from point A to point B, and then we walk back to our cars through the golf course. And there's probably like 5 of us that dive this spot, and we always dive.
Do you do it alone?
No, we always do it in pairs.
Yep.
I've done it definitely in my earlier days solo.
What's that like?
We've definitely got solo diving sucks. It does, and it's honestly really dangerous, and it shouldn't be done.
Okay,
it doesn't matter if you're in shallow water or deep water. Like, it just shouldn't be done. Like, there's just. Yeah, there's so much danger about it, and I've heard it in your last podcast. That guy explained it really well. And, so we usually go in pairs. So there's a limited amount of people who dive this spot. So when we heard that there was a guy taken off our local spot, I was with my mate who I always dive with. So we already knew that it wasn't one of us. But then we went around our phone book and called all our mates, and it wasn't anyone that we knew. Not saying that was a good thing, but I'm just saying it didn't affect us directly. But I had mates who were working on the beaches as lifeguards, had to pick up this guy's remains, which was like little bits of flesh and stuff. There wasn't much left. And, they were getting reports that it was a spear fisherman. So I had mates working that were worried that it could have been me. And they said that they couldn't get onto me for some reason. I don't know why. So it was definitely a bit frantic. But, it's been a hard one because after that attack happened, it's been La Nina. And the water's been dirty as hell with all the rains and floods.
And with that, you can't spear, can you really?
Well, it's hard, the visibility. But I remember, like, my best mate, who I dive with all the time, we went down there a couple months afterwards because no one had been in the water anyway because he couldn't. The viz was terrible. But we went down to that spot. I remember we got a feed and we sat at that spot. And we were just thinking of all the odds. And we were just amazed that this poor, I think he's English, living in Australia now, training for an ocean swim. That was, I think, the next week. Probably doesn't do this swim that much. Versus a guy like me, my mate Justin, who dive it every afternoon. We chum at that spot. We flash. We're trying to track fish. And this poor guy who's swimming past not minding his own business, not doing anything.
Yeah.
Gets literally eaten whole. So it was a tough one, and we definitely, I dove it on Friday, so a few days ago, and I still, when I went past the spot, I said to my mate, I was like, do you still get eerie? And I was like, yeah, man, I don't think it's ever going to leave. I don't think it's ever going to leave my mind until this day, like diving, until like, you know, we're done, that like, it's spooky. It's really spooky because like that spot, yeah, it's a really good fishing spot.
But it's generally known for poor visibility?
No, not at all.
Well,
No.
I mean, knowing what you know with your knowledge of the ocean and spearfishing, and you've probably, you know, started to understand shark behaviour a little bit better than the average person. I'm not in any way alluding to the fact you're an expert.
Yeah.
But in that instance with that poor guy, how would you explain it from a shark's perspective? Do you think it was just mistaken for food, or?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, well, what do you think?
I think the shark wanted to eat him.
Why do you think that the shark's hungry?
Maybe so La Nina brought like a heap of warm water coming at random times. I think maybe there was a build-up of a lot of bait. I think maybe the shark, instead of eating bait or another fish, just thought, I'm just going to take this big thing that looks like a seal. That's what I think. And if you're trying to allude to maybe our oceans are overfished and the sharks are coming in closer, that's a possibility as well. But it's behavioural. Like, you know, not every dog acts the same. So, like, you know, there's definitely a behavioural attitude when you think of sharks, and I know this for a fact. Like, you know, if you do see a shark, don't put your back to it. Look it straight in the eye and swim at it. The shark 9 times out of 10 is going to get spooked and keep wanting to get behind you pretty much. But, you know, you might just get this rogue shark that's just bloody Arnold Schwarzenegger that just wants to eat you, you know?
Yeah.
So you can't tell. And the thing that pissed me off so much after that was that they directly after that put out all these drum lines in that area trying to kill every shark that came through. And it's like, are you seriously going to kill the shark that did it? Or what's that even going to prove, killing that shark that ate that person? Like,
send a message to all other sharks, don't mess with us.
Yeah.
It just seemed
it's not
like
going to change their behaviour.
It was like, I understand maybe they had to do it from like a media perspective to make the people who don't even go in the water feel safer. But like,
From a media perspective,
just
isn't it like to appease the media? Are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? Like,
it just made no sense to me. And like, you know, the crazy statistic that happened after that was, you know, I was telling friends, like, they're like, oh, will you dive there again? I'm like, you know, I will dive there again, 100%. But like that occurrence will never happen again. But the thing was, a week later, I had a mate diving at Maroubra, and he got bumped by a great white. Yeah. It was insane.
gave him a nudge.
It was like, when I say bumped, it didn't actually hit him, but like it came up and had a snoop at him. Like it was looking at him.
All right.
But like for you to see a great white shark in our vicinity in the eastern suburbs is extremely rare.
Yeah.
Like I've got mates who have dove their whole life and never seen one.
Yeah, interesting.
And then getting 2 in the one area in 2 weeks, like I'd love to know some science behind that. Like that's insane.
Yeah. What's your favourite fish to hunt or spear?
At the moment, there's
Blue gropers, eh?
At the moment,
Peter. I don't want any activists on my gaze.
At the moment, kingfish. It's a kingfish season. You get like some decent sized kingfish around from pretty much September through to January, February. So as a diver, like this is the time that you get in the water and you're just diving around every point, every bit of bait that's along the coastline, and you know, you'll get a pack of kings that swim into you, and you can get lucky. You get anything from like, you know, the fish that we ate tonight was probably like a 6 kilo fish. You can get fish up to 20 kilos. Like I had a mate that shot one up near Newcastle.
Kingfish?
Yeah, I had a mate up near Newcastle shot a 27 kilo kingfish on the weekend.
No way.
Yeah.
27 kilo.
It's a big fish.
Wow.
It's amazing, dude.
Yeah. So, They're one fish that I love to hunt because when you see them swimming in the wild, like it's incredible. Like they're just so staunch because they know that they're like, you know, an apex swimmer. They know that they can swim circles around you, but they're curious. They'll come up to you, and they're just like, what I love about spearfishing is the hunt. It's trying to outwit and outsmart these things that are meant to be in the water when you're not. So
yes,
it's just like it's really cool. Like the techniques that have been developed over time, like kingfish, they love anything shiny and sparkly. So we usually carry like a flasher with us. We're flashing and like, you know, they'll get...
Is that mirror that I saw in you?
Yeah. So we got like this thing called flasher and we drop that down. You get fish that swim up to that and have a look at it. You also just the typical, you shoot the bait fish that kingies like. They're called yakkers, and you burley them up. Usually brings in fish. And then 9 times out of 10, it's just time in the water. You know, if you're swimming around those points, they're going to swim into you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're curious. And like, you know, you make noise, you splash about, they'll come in and be like, what's going on? Yeah. And then you should get that millisecond chance to take a shot.
Dude.
Sounds like such an amazing world down there.
It is. It's incredible, and it's like I wish I wish I could show it to more people. To be honest, like it's incredible.
It's inspiring listening to you. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's like I've done it, but it wasn't for me at the time. But I feel like I want to revisit it, especially after speaking to my last guest and now you. It's got me curious again because when I did it, I was much younger, and I was just like, I just found it really scary.
I started.
I was just the whole time. I was just nervous, scared. I was scared of everything. I was even scared of like the gun, like scared I was going to like let it go off in the wrong spot or things like that and shoot my foot off. But it's special, man.
It develops like it's. Don't say I hopped in the water and was just like, you know, at one with it straight away.
Yeah.
Like I definitely started off like you, and I'm still like that to this day. Like I've got a mate who's a complete natural. He'll grab this, grab that, grab octopus, put on his arm. I'm still like, whoa, don't touch that thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm still no natural, but like it's just time in the water.
It just seems like you're someone who's got numerous passions in life.
Definitely.
And I can see why that watching TV isn't really an option for you because it's like you got too much shit to do, bro.
Yeah, I just like it's come full circle because before I was very limited with surf. You know, it's only good when it's 3 to 4 foot offshore. Like, what does that happen? Like, not that many times
especially
a year.
on the East Coast,
you know?
where we are.
And then the spearfishing came along, and that was like great through the flat days, but then visibility is ruined by that. Or sometimes it's not a fishy season, or in between seasons, and there's not much out there.
Yeah.
And then the foiling came along, and the foiling you can do any day.
Any day?
And
no.
It's always pumping.
Really? No, wait up.
Always pumping.
There must be days when foiling's no good. Come on. So, like...
The only day that would be no good, it would be flat and glassy.
So dead flat. Like there's
dead
no sort of like lake-like.
Yeah, lake.
Foil sales just went through the roof.
But then you get the paddle, don't you?
Yeah, so like I was today. Like today was I know. Do you guys see the beach? Like today was 1
small.
foot slop nor'east wind, and
You went out.
Did a downwind. I did it from Bondi to Coogee.
How far's that?
I think it's like
in the water.
6Ks.
Do you measure it? Do you have
a watch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it wasn't that windy, so it took me like about an hour to get there.
What happens if the wind stops?
Well, it did. That's the thing.
Well, what do you do?
I was just kind of paddling around.
So you're in open ocean.
Yeah.
So when it stops, like you've got your paddle.
Got my paddle. Yeah.
Okay, so then you're supping all the way
paddle,
home.
but like when you get to
how far offshore are you?
I was probably a K offshore.
When nothing stops you, are you like, oh shit, that's right, I'm in the ocean?
There's nothing.
Like when the wind stops and like your momentum's running out, you're just like, oh shit, I'm in the ocean. Not only that, I'm like way out.
There's a thing. What's good about this downwinding that I'm doing is there's a fetch. So you guys probably don't really. Do you know what a fetch is?
Yeah, what's when water blows across the surface of the water and generates waves, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. So yeah. So even though like, you know, we're looking for days where it's windy. So say today it was like 10 knots nor'east wind. Not like ideal conditions because windier the better. But you'll get these little bumps out there. Not the swell that we're used to in traditional surfing. These are wind chop, like the stuff that you see out in the ocean that's just choppy.
Little light washes that just...
So what you're doing is you're catching these little wind chops because those wind chops move slower than the speed of swell. like groundswell.
Okay.
So
That
you
makes
can
sense.
you can match these wind chops with the speed of your board and the sup paddle that you're paddling into these little wind chops. So you get that little initial downhill bump that you paddle into. That's enough to eject you up into the sky, and then you start doing this pumping technique, and then you're connecting from wind chop to swell. To swell moves past you because it's moving too fast. Back onto wind chop.
Holy
Another
fuck.
swell will come through. It's what it's like is like it's like playing a game of chess, but the pieces are constantly moving around, and you have to try and weave your way through this maze to get to point A to point B.
Dude, like as you're saying that, I'm just like, you're saying like wind chop to groundswell to wind chop. And I'm just thinking like connection to the environment, connection to this, connection to the wind, connection to the water. It's just connection.
Yeah.
And you mentioned over dinner when we were eating your beautiful kingfish sashimi, which thank you, and those tacos, epic, patted in coconut or whatever. So you're such a I've got a man crush now. But anyway, oh fuck, I lost my train of thought. But trying to be funny. No, you mentioned over dinner that you've never really suffered from depression or anxiety. And I'm listening to your story after an hour and a half, with Pete, and it just feels like there's no coincidences there, because you're more connected to the environment than the average person. And I think that's what, in my opinion, many humans are lacking, is this deep connection. And also you're just keeping busy, so you got passions.
Yeah, that's a great
I don't know. That's kind of like a summary.
Really good observation.
Is that right?
No, that's great. I think I've never even thought of that, but then it makes sense. I think you see the people that are connected to their roots a bit more. Like they're usually not dealing with as much stress or the pressures of the outside world. The people in third world countries, that it's all about family and stuff. Like, even though they don't have much money, it's kind of, I don't even know where I'm tying that back into foiling and stuff. But I know what you mean. You're saying you're just getting out and amongst it.
You're just keeping busy and finding passions and things you love. I'm in your house. It's an awesome little unit. And then I noticed the Wim Hof breathing method book up there. Which looks like one of the OG ones when he first probably came out with the concept years ago. Am I right?
Yeah, I think I just got gifted that. And I went through a phase where I was doing Wim Hof.
Yeah. But it just was representative of someone who's just looking for ways to get high on life.
Oh yeah, I'm a big advocate.
You're getting high on life.
No, all the books I read are all amazing bios of people, of what they've done, and just stuff that inspires me. I get pumped off that stuff.
All right, well, because we're sort of getting towards the end, it's been a big day for everyone, and I know Pete's had a big day too, but my question to you is what do you want your legacy in this life to be?
Oh, that's too deep, Shannon.
Maybe it's time you started thinking about that shit, Josh.
My legacy that I want to leave on is I just hope people just go out and get what they're thinking, instead of being oh, I wish I did that, I'm a big advocate for do now and think later, which has been it's worked not in my favour before. But
is that why you do male modelling, or?
But are
you a male model?
Oh,
have you done modelling?
Yeah, I dabble in modelling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't want to waste any time, and I know time is one thing that we're so short of. And I'm a big advocate for not leaving any stone unturned.
They're good messages.
Yeah.
No, I love it, man. I'm just laughing too. You're saying, see, this is some profound shit. I love it. And then I look at Pete, and he's got one of those tobacco things up under his lip. What do you call that? A snuff or whatever.
I'm laughing.
Yeah, he's not letting any of those things go to waste.
No, but he's listening. He's listening really intently. But then his top lip's all punched up. I love you, Pete, man. You're a legend. Yeah, man. Well, listen, it's been epic on so many levels. Very profoundly grateful to have you on. I always like to advocate for at least one cause on this podcast. We haven't really discussed it If you've got something off the top of your head, great. But I'm actually going to take the opportunity, and this time of year I always like to advocate for Lifeline. So get on to Lifeline. We're going into the Christmas holiday period, which is a really fun and exciting period for many people, but also can be quite a sad and depressing time for many people as well. So, yeah, Lifeline is a great service. But you got anything for us off the top of your head you want to advocate for?
I've thought about this because I listen to all your podcasts. And
Thank you.
Instead of like a charity or something like that, I wanted people to just kind of reach out to, you know, their friends or their family that they haven't talked to in a long time and just strike a conversation. Like, I think we all just need to connect us that little bit more. And I think, just reach out. Just see how your buddy's going. Just go, what's going on? You know, it's Movember this month, and it's the big thing of getting everyone to talk about their feelings and what's going on. And it's so easy. Just communicate with each other.
Yes, brother.
While we're on that note,
yes.
I want to say thank you to you for reaching out to me when I've struggled. You've always been a good mate like that, so thank you.
No dramas. Yeah. Anything for you.
Right on, man. Right on. Let's go back to the let's talk about the male modelling a little bit. Like,
thought that was a wrap.
Is it like lucrative?
If you've driven behind a bus,
what do you have to do?
chances are.
Do you want the portfolio? I can bring it out.
Hey, you know what, dude? So wait, you've got free surfing. You get sponsored for being a free surfer. Are you a free foiler? You are, and you know what?
Is there comps yet?
Yeah, I think there is. There's more like races and stuff. Like
downwind races.
Yeah, that's going on. I don't know if there's. Oh no, sorry. There's been a couple of like competitions, like surfing competitions where you do tricks and stuff, but it looks so complicated because everyone's getting like 5,000 waves in one heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, I think they need to figure something.
So you're a free foiler.
Yeah.
See, okay, the reason I bring that up is because one of my past guests recently, Luke Cederman from the Raglan Surf Report.
Love that guy.
Dude, he talks about how...
You know, I reached out to him too, and he gave me like a holler back, and I was like, I love this guy even more now. Yeah,
but anyway, he's so funny. He talks about how...
Is he funny like that in real life?
Oh, dude, he's funny. Yeah, constantly.
One the other day, that made me laugh so much.
Oh, like if like drinking a beer at the pub was the same as surfing, and some dude's trying to sip his beer at the same time. It's like, mate, that was my beer. Like, I've been waiting. I waited 45 minutes for that beer.
Yeah.
That is surfing.
But anyway, he talks about how you could never be a free surfer if you don't have long hair.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
And like, you're blessed with those golden locks, man.
Oh, cheers.
So that's why you're a free foiler. Like, do you think that if I got good at foiling, would that company sponsor me? Like, given that I'm bald and short?
Maybe you could be like the race guy.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I'm built for racing. See, I was watching you do those carves. Were you in Fiji or some shit?
Yeah.
You know, did you see his hair? And the sun was setting, and he's like doing this cutback, and his hair is like flicking, and all the water's like flying off his hair at the same time. I was like, fuck that guy, man.
On that note, though,
he's a free
talking about competitions, and you were saying that when you were younger, you dabbled in like board riders, and it didn't really resonate with you. If there was a curriculum in foil surfing that sort of was what you were into with foiling, and they brought out a competition, would that be something you would get into, or are you just more into like just doing it because you enjoy it?
Yeah, just doing it.
Yeah.
I still to this day, I don't get any satisfaction about beating another guy.
Yeah, right.
No, I'd much rather get a free trip to Fiji because the sponsor wants to get some footage.
Dude.
Much more about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll get married in Fiji?
We're getting married in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
Family
So
vibe.
where her hometown is, and my family love traveling, and
rad.
yeah, we're doing it there.
That'd be fun.
Frothing.
Man.
Yeah, no, really, I love her family, and
Summer vibes or winter vibes?
It'll be fall.
Oh yeah.
So So like not cold but not hot, and like all the leaves are changing. It's beautiful.
Dude,
It's special in those countries where it's cold in winter, and
They get proper seasons over there.
Yeah, I
Not like
love
here.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get that.
We don't get
Not
seasons.
too much.
We get,
Canberra, you can. Like, if you go to Canberra, you'll notice the leaves changing. It was the same when I was living in Sweden. Like, autumn was like, whoa, it's so bright. But then as autumn ends, it's like,
Yeah.
here comes the cold.
It's a dark age.
Did you find being in like those cold winters, it forces you to socialise more? because you
Yeah.
can't really go outside too much, and everyone sort of sits inside and talks more. And
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
They're
So-
nice though. They all have their special feels, I think.
Yeah.
Something about winter though, like when it's snowing and everything's just dead silent. Just
Yeah, we
Bring
don't get
that
that.
on.
I was thinking that, like, you know, like we've grown up on the east coast and southeast coast of Australia. Like we're so accustomed to wind. Like it's really quite windy
Yeah.
the east coast, especially the southeast coast. It's always like there's always some wind.
Yeah.
And I really notice it when I go to those sort of places where they just don't have variable winds all the time, you know.
It's amazing.
Our winds are so variable, hey.
Get in downwinding, Shan.
Dude, would you take me out? I'm keen.
You need to
'Cause
be
I'm
proficient
actually-
in prone foiling first. That's the evolution.
Prone foiling.
Yeah, like the
Laying
Like
down.
just paddling on your stomach.
Once you get good at that, then you get into down.
So you're paddling on your stomach like surfboard style,
Yeah.
and then you're lifting out of the water, and you're still laying on your belly like Superman. So,
Or you can do boogie foil if you want.
nah, man, I'm going straight to my feet, dude. Come on, man. Like,
Will boogie foiling get the same amount of slack as what boogie boarding got in the industry? Will it turn into that, like in foiling?
I seen a guy yesterday boogie foiling. I thought it was sick.
well, how do I get started? Do I have to go and buy all the gear and then realize I don't
I'll
like
lend it to you, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go. When can we go?
Yeah, whenever you want. We should do the
Let's-
link up.
can we go
man.
not-
I've
can
been
we
trying
go-
to get Pete to do it.
Let's go. Let's do it not next weekend.
Yeah.
Podcast
the
while
weekend
foiling.
after. Yeah, maybe. I've got a waterproof setup.
Yeah.
No, that'd be epic. I'd love to try it, you know.
sure.
Like I'm actually inspired by it because I'm sort of feeling like I need to try something new. I'm pretty
You'll
stagnant.
be humbled.
Yeah.
Makes
I
you
feel
ego
humble.
in a second.
Really?
Yeah, because you're like, wow, I'm a full kook at this.
So, but this is another thing, like Josh. Like, not a lot of people have that mentality of like, "Hey, I want to be a kook again." So, thanks, and Mr. Josh Koo and
Thank
Mr.
you
Peter
very
Balmer,
much.
Shannon.
legends,
Thanks, Shannon.
dude. What a great night. You.